おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。おやすみなさい。KCS チャンネル、みんふーです。どうも。タングルタワー実況続きからやっていきたいと思います。前回ですね、証拠品とか、供述を洗って、正直わかんないことだらけだったんだけど、個人的には、そのフェリックスの供述の二人階段降りてく音聞こえたから出てったよっていう二人なんていなかったっていうところと、あとこのホークショー探偵が図書室から出てきて、ポインター教授、ペネロピーを見送った後こっち来ました。ただその動きを裏付ける発言はなかったよねっていうところで、ちょっとこの二人怪しんでます。犯人っぽいかって言われるとちょっとこの二人そうでもないんだけど、なんか意図的にじゃなくても話が食い違ってる可能性あるんで、今日はちょっとこの二人攻めていこうかと思います。まだ供述空いてない人もほとんどなんで、ポッピー以外はね、ちょっと話深掘りしていく感じでいければいいかな。開けれないのかな。ちょっともう一回聞くか。
I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing
二
down the
人にはポッ
staircase
ピ
to
ーだ
the
った
floor
んだ。
below.
これ一応人物のところで、事件当時の各キャラクターの動向っていうのが見れるように。聞けるの？
Always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different like how?
これあれか、逆転裁判でいう人物を突きつけるか。
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona, not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional intelligence.
これ聞いてった方がいいね。チェックマークついてるもんな。多分供述開けるのに人の話聞くの結構大事なのかもしれん。じゃあちょっとフローラから行きますね。
Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman.
奥さんなんです
Been
ね。
married over 20 years now.
You two still get on?
Of course. What a question.
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak. She's had it her whole life. She's the youngest of three. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know.
本人のことも
You're
聞
the
けるん
one
だ。
currently basking in his presence. You tell me.
Let's move on.
My daughter
娘だね。
Fiona, our little burgeoning genius. You've met her?
We did. She's going by Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason she prefers Fifi over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her.
なるほどね。
Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard on the grapevine. Supposedly Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item. Something called...
出てきた。
Honestly, it's probably a bunch of sensationalist rubbish.
You reckon?
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it.
証拠品で出てきてたんでね。あるはあるんでしょうけど。
Skilled as an artist, But Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are
ちょっ
you
と怪し
related
い
to
ね、今
Freya?
のね。
Somewhat distantly, as it happens, my father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all.
なるほどね。
There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower.
レイヤは一応、外の人間との子供だったりするからね。
Fitz? I don't trust him. He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Did you two have an argument?
No, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman.
フィーフィーはフィッツが嫌いと。それに流されるように、フェリックスもフィッツの印象はあまり良くないということですね。
Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know, maybe.
可能性はあるぐらい
That
だ
is
な。
not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness, does old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival.
まあ、なんとなく感じてたその F の家系の人と P の家系の人の仲悪さは多分こいつらのせいだね。下の子たち割と仲いいもんな。
Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger, always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her
そう
marriage.
だね。
It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile.
結構濃い情報出てくるね、これ。これちょっと全体的にやった方がいいんだろうな、多分。それでも解けない。フェリックスこんなもんかな。
I've been carving
おー、
for
出
a
る
couple.
ね。
I was hopeless when I started, but
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed. Yes, Freya kindly taught me the basics.
これ一人一人回っていくと結構なパート数になりそうだね。
Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course, I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that.
まあじゃあ関係あるのだけいこうかな。極力。これ知りません？
I'm as confused as you are.
混乱してる呼ばわりされた。これについて思うことありませ
It
ん？
would have been a beautiful painting. Rather a shame Freya was unable to finish it.
Nothing about it seems strange to you.
Well, all these modern paintings are slightly strange, aren't they? The emotion of the piece taking over from, say, anatomical accuracy.
What about the knife in Flora's hand?
A knife? That's what you see?
You don't?
Well, as I was saying, Freya's artistic approach distorts certain shapes. Hard to say exactly what we're looking at. Ah, you found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people.
この辺の現場系
Flora's
のはどう
quite
よ
fond of that old thing. It's in poor shape, though.
Do you know what happened to it?
Can't say I do.
これも
Does
現場
Flora
にあった
normally
んです
keep
け
something in
ど
here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
関係してそうなもん。鳥につい
Where
て
did
な
you
んかないで
find
すか？
that?
It was in the library.
Really? How odd.
まあ全部聞いちゃってもいいのかなと思うけど。
What's
sa
this
っき
all
話出た
about?
ね。
Some kind of rare jewel?
I'm pretty sure the research is about a real insect.
If it's made of gold, then it's made of gold.
これのこと知りませんか？
Goodness me.
まあ、興味ないものに
What's
は
It's my case
それな
file.
りな
You mean to say
反応
you're
なんだろう
bound
な。
by the limits of what's written in this little document? Sounds dreadful.
I found it comforting.
まあコメントは返してくれんのか。まあ、これ人数分やんないといけないんで、ちょっと関係なさそうなやつは一旦省こうかな。ハープちょっと聞いて
Rather
くか。
ugly, isn't it, as far as statues go? Years of wind and rain have not been
Do you
kind.
know what it is? The creature, I mean.
It's connected to the Remington family history in some way, but I can't recall.
レミントン家か。関係ありそうなの。この辺の子たちについて。
Oh dear,
Do you know who this is?
not a clue. My daughter Fiona and her best friend. They grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea.
もうちょい聞いて
Looks
み
like
ます。
Freya's paints.
Do you know why the pots are cracked down one side?
No, that's very odd. They're normally in excellent condition.
You seem pretty sure about that.
全部見ちゃうかこれ。
Charming, isn't it? Yes. Built by the
作っ
Remington
たのは
family
レミントン
originally.
家なんですね。
Dear Flora's father and his associates.
But now it's owned by you? By the fellow family?
The fellows and the pointers have both come to claim a
oh,
certain degree of
なる
ownership.
And who named it Tangle Tower?
Flora chose the name.
What does it mean?
I think it was her intention that it mean nothing at all. Something of a fresh start.
From what?
This really isn't for me to say, but she had some kind of disagreement with her siblings. After they moved away, Flora changed the name of the house. I think perhaps she hoped it would make them feel unwelcome, is less likely to come back.
That's kind of extreme.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it?
結構ちゃんとテキスト用意
That
されて
looks
る
like
な。
it might belong to Poppy.
ポッピーのなのね。はい。
It's unlike her to leave paint on the brush.
I think we'll give her a pass, given the circumstances.
Ah, yes, so we shall. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. That's one of Freya's paintings, is it not? It's impressive, but a little miserable for my tastes. Why would someone lock up a book like that?
We think it's a secret diary.
Aha! Teenagers are funny, aren't they?
こいつ、人柄に深みがねえな。
Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise.
なんかどっかでびっくり箱みたいに大事なこと言い出しそうで怖いわ、
That
怖い。
looks like it might belong to Fitz. I've never seen that before. Looks valuable. Now this is still in very good condition. Apart from the crack, of course.
What about those shards on the inside of the horn?
あ、聞くね、
Looks
結
like
構。
somebody broke a glass and was trying to conceal the evidence.
何のガラスなのか知りたいところだけど。
I've never been one for music. Why not ask Poppy instead?
そうだね。
The statue was up in the rooftop garden.
Yes, it's been there a while. You can see the brass is slightly tarnished by the elements, but it's not too bad. Might be salvageable. Bizarre things, aren't they? Penelope seems rather attached to them.
Do you not feel sorry for them in that little cage?
Come now, I'm sure they could leave if they really wanted to.
ラストかな。
That looks like it might belong to Fitz.
一通り話を聞いてみたんですけど、まあ、ちゃんとテキスト用意されてるけど、関係ないところは本当になんか何も言ってくれない感じだったんで、そうだな。まあ結構キャラ数いますけど、全部聞いていく感じが平たいかな。やっぱ何が出てくるかわかんないしね。まあ人と証拠品を順番にちょっと当ててっていこうかな。となるとポッピーとか行きたいんだけどな。ポッピーでも供述出てるしな。まあ、じゃあ当初の狙い通り探偵行きましょうか。いやー、こいつ何も言ってくんなそう。フィー、フィッツあたりはいろいろ落としてくれそうだけどな。フィ行くか。フィ行くわ。こいつ話長そうだけど。じゃあ人ちょっと聞いていきます。
Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44.
まあ意外と若いんだね。もっとおばあちゃんだと思ってたわ。
Unknown. Dislikes, unknown.
Isn't she your mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been non-verbal?
She has always been quiet, willing to
Ah,
speak when
喋るんだ。
necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
抽象的なんだよな。もう生体とか言ってくれよ。鼓膜とか。
Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession,
うん、
None.
まあそこそこいい年だな。
collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
Grimoire.
No, he is quite correct.
まあそうだな。現実逃避癖みたいなところはちょっと似通ってはいるけど。の割にリアリストだからイライラしちゃうんだよ
Fiona
な。
Fellow.
フィフィの方
Age,
が。
19. Profession, amateur microbiologist. Likes, the meaningful archiving of information. Dislikes, the superfluous window dressing accompanying the majority of human contact. Notes, kindly disregard the polysyllabic form of my given forename and refer to me instead as Fifi.
How come you prefer Fifi?
How come you prefer Grimoire?
How are you related to the other fellows?
Fitz is my cousin. His father, a man named Flint, was my uncle.
Was?
I do not know if Flint is alive or not. He left Tangle Tower a long time ago.
And what about Freya?
結構出てった人の割
We
合も
share
多いんだよ
exactly
な、多
one
分。
grandparent. Name, Hawkshaw. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective. Likes, quote, being left alone, dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with
聞きに行ったんだ
a
な。
clipboard.
ちょっと可愛いな、今の。
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased. Understand this. Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me. There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this.
そうね。
She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you spend a lot of time with Freya recently?
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became 1. Increasingly independent, and 2. Increasingly isolated.
Do you know why?
I do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. 1 scientist, 1 artist, and 1 musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
そうね。まあ、動いてんの見たことないけど、結構まあ、奔放、天真爛漫、型破り。なまあ、印象をフレイヤには持ってますが。
Name, Fitzfellow. Age, 24. Profession, cryptobotanist. Likes soil, dislikes electric lights.
Hang on. Cryptobotanist? I thought he was just a gardener.
That may well be his preferred label. Mine, however, is more accurate.
Do you and Fitz not see eye to eye, Fifi?
We do not.
ああ、仲悪いっつってた
Well,
な。
I wouldn't have thought so. He's well over 6 foot, and you've got to be just barely 5.
So what's your problem with him?
Exactly 1 week ago, I witnessed him sneaking up Pointer Tower. He was making every effort to avoid detection.
So?
He was also carrying a knife.
うん。
Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57. Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh, yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
嫌いなんだな。
Name,
喋らねえもん
Penelope Pointer. Age, 27. Profession, ornithologist. Likes, birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes, Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her.
そうだね。まあでもあんま好き嫌いは伝わってこなかったな。
Name, Poppy Pointer. Age, 19. Profession, Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written the ghost of Christmas yet to
う
come.
ん。そうだな。
Name,
間違えた。
Apparently Poppy has
顔完全にジャック・スケリントンだもんな。じゃあ証拠品聞いていきます。そうあたりでいいか
What
な
is。your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens.
結構関係ないような話でも人となりが見えてくるのが結構面
Why
白
do
い
you
な。
ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her. I require facts. What do you
彼
know?
女はフレイヤかな。
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which, as a mere abstract representation, does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife.
よくよく考えたら前提から馬鹿げてはいるんだよな。
This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right, but why?
I do not know why.
うん。
The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are.
Curious. Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
What made you want to test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course.
ちょっとポッピー怪しいね。
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood.
血液な
A
の
whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
これ更新してくれてんのかな、証拠品は。後で見るか。
The red paint on the brush is not paint.
あ、筆も血なんだ、やっ
Same
ぱ
for the
り。
palette.
So
パレ
Freya
ットのも
added the
血なん
blood
だ。
to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
I do not know the answer.
でもインクというか絵の具にも血が混じってんだったら、
That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs. The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days.
なるほど。
Is she laughing?
It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya? A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red
そうだ
parts
ね。
without any
ないよ
red
ね、
paint.
赤の絵の具。
I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
これわかんねえな。
This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time. A book. My book.
And what's in it?
Pages.
あ、これフィフィのなんだ。ここ見つけたんだっけな。
This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless. Unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends.
On what?
On the structural integrity of your teeth.
そういう問題ではないと思うけど。
That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is. Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be?
なんか基本的にそれぞれのキャラがゆかりのある部屋には他のやつ入らなそうだけどな。
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere.
うん。
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea.
うっそ。もう知らないふりしてあげてる感じだよ
Do
ね。
not
多分ね
go on statues. Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
確かに。
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No, it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate.
うん。
I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
ああ。
Oh,
まあ確かになんか何すっかわかんねえからな。
Who is this her to whom the message refers?
well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next! It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what.
うん。ピーピーこんなもんかな。そうだな、まあ、怪しさは特にないけど、まあ、フィッツが嫌いだと。で、ちょっとこのペニーに対する気持ちは、憧れもあるけど苦手意識もありみたいな。ほんと陰キャ陽キャの構図だもんね、これね。でまあまあ、フレイヤ、ポッピーとは仲が良かったけど、ここ最近フレイヤが孤立してったっていう構図みたいですね。で、ポッピーのその過去のパーコ時代に関しては、もう言及せずと。逆に言うと、ポインターにも印象あんま良くないのかなって感じしたけど。まあでもなんか、そんな見えすいた好き嫌いで殺した殺してないはなさそうに思えるけど、どうなんでしょうか。
Something about Felix's painting supplies. Something.
Let's ask him about it.
俺を驚かせた代償は高くつくぞ。
about the image of Flora in the painting. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
ちょっと待ってよ。ちょっと待ってよ。先にお前だ。
You get a good view of the lake from here.
おー、開く。
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
正しい色ではないかな？赤がないよねっていう話？それともそれフレイヤから借りた絵の具でしょみたいな話。こっちかな？
It's not the right color.
You sure about that?
Not
違った？
entirely.
Come on then, out with it.
違った。
What exactly are you accusing me of?
じゃあこれかな？
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other
他の
paint
絵の具
pots.
と同じだ。
End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint.
あ、
Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
赤い絵の具と直接比較できるもの。フレイヤの絵の具でいいのかな？他に絵の具ないもんな。
Let's take a closer look at this.
この2つの手がかりの共通点は、蓋が入れ替えられてた。あ、マーク違うやん、これ。こうかな？
Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is
なるほど。
from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
続くね。フェリックスがフレイヤの絵の具を盗んだことと殺人が関係している理由は、赤い絵の具の瓶は、フレイヤがフローラの絵を描く前に血液でなぜかいっぱいだったんじゃないか？
This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
オッケーオッケー。
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know, perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got
赤だけ入れ替えてんだもん
if
ね。
that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
絵の具の、入れ替えがあったのは、フェリックスが絵の具使いたかったからと。ただその入れ替えた空の瓶に、赤い絵の具に見立てた血が入った状態で殺人現場に行ってるっていうところが、この後、何かしら一腹あんのかなと思います。次回は、同じようにちょっと人回ってって話聞いていこうかなと思います。よろしければチャンネル登録、高評価よろしくお願いいたします。それではまた次回の動画で。バイバーイ。